Okay, so we're back now with part 2 of our tutorial. So, certain programs you're going to see here, essentially you want to check for an even number. So, we have our number here, starting at 0. So let's just prompt the user for a number, enter any positive number, and we'll get the number. So now we have our decisions to check. So what defines an even number is if the modular of that number by 2 is equal to 0. So we make use of the if block. So if the number entered mod 2 is indeed equal to 0, we can say you entered an even number. And generally, we could use an else, but for the purpose of this example, we use an else if with the 1 for the odd numbered clause. You entered an odd number. Okay, so let's save it and run this. Compile. It's putting the window in view. So enter any positive number. Well, let's try 5. Now we know by its nature 5 is odd. Well, so far so good. And doing it one more time, try 4, we know is even. There you go. So just a simple program to show that this is simple decision making. Now, generally, as mentioned before in one of the snippets in the PowerPoint, was you know implicitly that if this condition returns false, you know that a number is either even or odd. So you can just use a very general else clause here. So this will produce the same result. Just to show it, entering 5, you still get the message for an odd number. And entering 4, you still get the message for an even number. So it does work. Okay, so that's one program. Now, another program will check for just certain numbers. It will check for an even number and a number divisible by 5. So we still have our number. We still prompt the user for the number. So now we can do this one of two ways, and I'm going to show you the nested way of doing it. So first we can check if the number is even. Well, that's simple enough, we know from before. So now, going up here, we need to check for the number being even and the number divisible by 5. So as an example, if the number is divisible by 5, it has no remainder. So you can also say if num mod 5 is 0. Well, then we know that it's good. And let's just say we want to output the number 2. Say num. Okay. Now, going to the first if statement, if the number is not even, well, then it fails. So we can say no good out here. But inside here, this means that the number was even for this code to get active. So now you can say if the number is not divisible by 5, we can print a message that says close. Okay. So let's see the output of this program. Again, please enter any number. Well, let's try 6. We know 6 is even, but is it divisible by 5? No. You're close. So doing this program again, let's try 5. Well, we know it's no good because it's odd. So next in line, let's try 10. Now 10 divided by 5 is 2, but it has no remainder. So here, this should work. And it does. So going back here, this condition is checked first. Not this one. It doesn't work from the inside out. It's backwards. It goes from the outside in. So if the number is even, only then will this condition be checked. Now if this condition here fails, this has an else. So you get close. Now it's very helpful for you to indent code, because otherwise for situations like this it could get messy. So say you did something like this. I don't know what that is. Right? Nobody's going to know. Your professor's going to yell at you. Believe me, I've had professors who yelled at me for that. So keep your code very clean. Make sure it's indented. And for now, that's part 2 of this tutorial. Part 3 is going to showcase the very brief introduction to looping with while statements.